thoughts are not fiction. No one gets an opinion on the topics that we mention with the Holy Ghost boldness. God's in control of this. Real talk with real men for purpose and focus. Growth to get better. See, man up, we better. To change for the better. The future getting better. True man of God, leading, going hard. It's time to level up with the Man Up Squad. Now man up. You got this. M-A-N-U-P. Man up. Now man up. M-A-N-U-P. Now man up.
Hey, welcome to Man Up. We thank you for tuning in. Listen, we had a very impacting conversation with the bishops and pastors as we were finishing up our Unity Conference. The broadcast went much longer than our general time, and we kept rolling. And so we want to jump right back into the middle of what we were doing in that broadcast. Listen, we were talking about the state of the church and the condition of the people and leadership and the membership and how it all functions. And we got into some good stuff, but time ran out, so we had to stop. But we wanted to get right back into the meat of where we were. It was a very intense conversation and a lot of good information was shared. And I'm not going to keep wasting time talking to you now. We're going to jump right back into it now.
When you call me Father, it gives me the total authority to examine your life.
Yeah.
But when you call me Pastor, it gives me total authority to preach to your life.
Mm-hmm. And when you call me Father, I can tell you when you are and are not whatever you believe that you are.
Father's name.
Remember that? When someone calls you daddy, you got to tell them who they are.
Fathers name the children.
That's it. And so
And
when someone's
fathers
calling me
bless the
Father,
children.
I can tell you that name you got, we're changing that. That ain't your name.
I'll tell you something deeper than that. When you call me Father, I can tell you what to do. When you call me Pat, I have to ask you.
And then you can, in a house, you may be a father to the community, that local community, and not be that person's father. Like growing up in our neighborhood, there were people in the neighborhood, older folk, who were mothers to us. That wasn't my mother.
Right.
It wasn't my father, but
and
that was
it's all in where you submit to them will determine the right to say that. You see what I'm saying?
And it goes back to honor.
I had one mother, and she fulfilled everything.
Right.
Now, there are mothers in my church, but they're not my mother.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because my mother fulfilled everything. I don't trade that title. I don't give that title to everybody. I don't.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Same.
I don't. That's my mother. That's my. Now, you are a mother in the church, and I love you dearly, and you do some things that my mother used to do to care for me. I could give God praise for that.
Right.
But you don't. That position is a position that can't be released easy, just as Father is.
Right. And we may give honorifics, i.e. to the church mother, or even in dealing with each other's parents. We may, because that's your mother or father, I may call
I'm
them.
going to give you the same honor.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's my brother, right? And
Exactly.
Now, how do y'all deal with people that don't belong at your church?
What do you mean they don't belong?
Well, I think everybody that shows up that wants to stay belong, but it doesn't mean that everybody just shows up and wants to stay will follow. You're gonna always in a crowd. You're gonna always have people that are in but don't fit. That's normal. That's why when you go pick grapes or pick berries, there's in that bunch there's some that stays but it don't fit. They got to replace. They replace themselves by their qualification.
Yeah. I think one of the marks of a maturing church is its ability to be inviting, accepting, and inclusive of whoever plugs into the house.
But don't let rare species control the house.
Right. Because you're plugging in, you don't get to change it.
And
You're never change it.
And I think everybody has to have an elimination system or a backup.
But it's going to be hard to do that when you got pastors and bishops that saying everything fit. If you say you call to it, then you are to it.
No, I'm saying that
you don't have that's not an elimination system.
No, I'm saying
that's good, Pastor Tony.
That's not an elimination system.
Sit with that, Bishop.
No, listen to me. I'm saying to you that in any healthy body,
there's got to be a release.
there's going to be a release.
Right.
And so I'm saying, and those people who don't fit, sometimes.
But that's
But
the
I
same
think
structure
what
for the
Pastor Tony
kingdom.
is saying
That's-
is there is a built-in elimination system, but the elimination system be broken because folk be trying to be stuff that they're not,
Trying to block it.
and we let them stay in the body.
Stay in
and
the
so-
body too
so-
long.
so it becomes a
That's why
blockage.
we got.
And it blocks, okay, that's
Let me
good.
tell you, before COVID or during that time, I don't know, 20, we had churches, young people birthing churches all day long. I mean, birthing churches all day long. I mean, churches birth. Today, I'll give you better than that. The Word of Faith movement was a movement. Churches was birthed all day long. Today, you can count on one hand how many Word of churches that exist today. Because we didn't have anything to filter it.
Right.
We let those people get away with it. We
Right.
didn't have anything to filter it.
Yeah.
We had it, we didn't use it.
So you got to remove the blockage.
Stop eating cheese.
You got to remove the blockage.
You got to identify.
You got to
each
change the
cheese as a
diet.
Cheesing
problem.
people all
You
the
got
time.
to change the diet.
I'm sorry.
You got to change the diet, and you got to remove the blockage.
That's it. And you got to call the blockage a blockage.
Yes.
You got your kidneys say release, and your stomach say not now.
Yeah. Your stomach say, well, if you don't want to release, you don't
And
have
when
to.
they say, and kidneys say, I'm hurting. You hurting me.
Right.
Leave me here. You hurting me, holding it back.
So they quit.
So, all right, here's another one. Private rebuke and open rebuke, because I think a lot of people as membership don't know the process when it changes from private rebuke to open rebuke.
And we're just talking about the church at large, right? I think, now I may be devil's advocate in this one, that sometimes we, I'm going to use we again, in the pulpit, we can go a little overboard. You get caught up in the moment. It's easy to get caught up in the moment. Everything is high. You know, you got to think about you in a service. Your adrenaline is pumping. A lot of times we don't think about the natural processes that are going on in the human body. Adrenaline is pumping. You're feeling all of these chemicals released in the body. And it's difficult to go from up here to then say something to somebody in some little soft voice. Right?
But I also think you have to judge that from the household.
It's the law of
What
the
do you
house.
How the house is structured. You know, if I'm looking on social media and someone said, tell her be quiet in the praise and worship. She said, "Oh, my Lord, that's good." Tell her be quiet. And somebody say, she was flowing, she was loving the Lord. You don't know the history of the house.
Sure.
And I'm being the governor over the house, is correcting it openly because we talked to her 33 times about her waiting for everything to get quiet to scream out something.
So then the question becomes, remember
social
we had-
media is damaging
Sure.
order.
Sure.
Well-
Because remember, we had that go viral, right?
Right.
Recently. The question that I might have is, why is that person still on the stage? If you done talked to them 33 times, why are they still right in front of a microphone?
Because the same way little Ricky is still eating dinner at your table, and you know he's always stealing the chicken after.
Right. I may let
There's
little
some
Ricky
things
eat-
you correct, but you trust. You
well,
still
if
maintain.
little Ricky keeps stabbing people with his fork, little Ricky gonna eat at the table, but you eat with your hands, son, because you got a
Yeah,
problem.
but see,
You don't know.
some-
Well, it ain't little Ricky, it's little Fred.
I think that social media have gave a audience that have no opinion opinion.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because this is the question you should ask yourself: why she's still there?
Yeah. Sure.
Because she knows there's some order that was properly offensive, but properly done.
And social media has emboldened
I have-
the
I
spirit
have-
of rebellion, because think about if you as a natural father, you correcting your child, and then your child's friends or whomever start saying that your dad is doing too much. You know, you ain't got to listen to your daddy doing all
Absolutely.
that. Please, your daddy, I
Absolutely.
wish your daddy would. All of a sudden, it starts emboldening a spirit of rebellion in the child, because now the child feels like, I got some support somewhere else.
That's why it's not
I-
good
I
for a
think-
system to run your house.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, you got to know the law of the house, flow of the house, the spirit of the house. Also, I think that we preach from the pulpit, we pastor behind the desk. Second and thirdly, I think that if an individual does something, if you trespass openly or out in public, I'm going to rebuke you out in public, because you got others that are watching too. It's the same thing. So if you do it publicly, I think sometimes it demands public rebuke. If you do it privately, then it's a private rebuke. So and it goes back to what you said: the law of the house, the flow of the house, the spirit of the house. And we take things out of context, and we put it up there, but you don't know how many times that woman was told not to do it.
I think we've got to stop letting social media govern the kingdom.
That's right. That's right.
For a 90-minute, what do you call it? 90, what do you call it?
Reel, a 90-second reel.
90-second reel. A 90-second reel is going to determine what that church is about.
Yeah.
And all
That's
the
wrong.
opinions,
And
90
I
seconds.
don't even know, I think we're off, but if we record, I would say, you foolish if you're going to let some strangers on social media guide, direct, and influence your spirit of submission and your attitude about the place you know you consistently eat from. You
They
are
don't know
a
nothing
silly
about the
person.
church.
They don't know nothing about you.
They
don't
just-
know how crazy you are,
They
how
don't know
rebellious
nothing.
you are.
Nothing. And then they might, and that person that's giving their opinion is giving opinion from their own hurt place.
Yeah.
They
Right.
need to go back to where they were hurt and deal with
And
it.
they don't have a right to speak.
Right.
They don't even have a right to. Too many people are speaking that have no right to speak.
That's why when you go to court, when they search for the jury, they search for people that don't have your
unbiased.
experience.
They're unbiased.
They're
They don't
unbiased.
know
They
you.
don't. They if you were the person that a man beat you up, then when they interview people, they do not pick people that says I've been beat up 17 times by the same man by a man. Why? Because you're going to be unbiased. You're going to be biased. Is what I'm saying. That's why it's important that we got to stop letting social media dictate the growth, the direction, and the purpose of the church. That's how all these diseases are in the church today. Spiritual diseases. Because of social media saying, oh,
They're
y'all don't allow that,
airborne.
and we're going to attack that.
They're airborne. Airborne diseases, but media, airborne.
All right, so a touchy one. It really ain't touchy, not with this group, but for the sake of the people, a touchy one. At what point does a person's lifestyle limit their freedom or ability to be used in the church?
Are you talking about church use or church position or kingdom position?
Either or where's the line drawn for
because
that?
We're fighting today with bishops that are lifestyles are different. We're fighting today musicians' lifestyles are different. We're fighting today the choir lifestyles. Where do it stop? Where do it stop? The Bible says we all fall short of the glory of God. I'm all understanding that, but there's got to be some rules and some structure that says you got to pass this to have that. And I'm not talking about degrees.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it is determined by the level of leadership or the position that we're talking about, right? We see that there are certain qualifications and expectations that the scripture places on certain places of service, levels of service, i.e., and if Pastor don't want this on it, y'all can edit it out. Drinking isn't a sin, right? The bishop, 1 Timothy chapter 3 says, should not be given to wine. So if I'm going to serve in this capacity, there are things that may be okay for someone else to do that for me, I'm unable to do.
But getting drunk is a different story.
Getting drunk is a problem for
I
anybody.
help somebody in this room right now.
Right.
Getting drunk is a different story.
Amen. Amen.
So
why are you looking
don't-
at the
don't-
camera
don't-
person over this?
Because I love her to pieces. But I'm saying, we can casually drink.
Sure.
And the Bible says,
I don't encourage it at all.
I don't drink it all either. Bishop Rick, we know about you. But I drink it all. But the reality
know
of
about
it, we know you don't drink either. But the reality of it is, if I did drink, and I'm among y'all, I wouldn't
gonna
drink.
do it.
Because
I'm
I'm
not
not
gonna cause you to stumble.
offending you.
Right.
Because what I'm having in my hand, watch this, represents what you are to other people when they come by.
Absolutely. I went on, I'm recently re-singled. And I was having dinner.
You know it's not recently, but go ahead.
Relatively recent. I mean, how long you been single though?
I'm a senior citizen in singleness. I'm a single citizen.
You a
in
veteran
singleness.
in
That's
this.
right. I'm a single citizen.
We're going. I went to this little small town to to meet the young lady, and we're sitting out eating, and we had conversations. How I don't drink at all. I don't think it's a sin. I don't care, but I don't. And I'm in this little small country town, so I'm thinking ain't nobody gonna, know me. We sitting there eating, and she gets something like a daiquiri or something. Again, I'm not, tripping, whatever. One turns into two. I start noticing the eyelids start drooping a little bit more. Conversations start, right? A little slur here. And we go to get up to leave, and I had noticed this table had kept watching and whispering it. And so I get up to leave, guy comes over, he said, what's your name? And so I tell him my name, he said, Bishop Senegal? I said, yeah. He said, oh, can the kids take pictures? And so we taking pictures. Well, that was her last night eating with me, because you took no consideration
Absolutely.
of how what you over here doing, like you literally, this number one is the first time you meeting me. Why are you getting drunk first time you meet me? Right? But you took no consideration on how that was going to reflect onto me. And so there are certain things that may be okay, that may not be okay for certain positions, certain places, certain relationships.
Absolutely.
There's stuff that I may allow somebody to usher. They got something going on, but you ain't.
They
gonna
might have
stand
an
up here.
addiction, but I can't have them in the pulpit
I
preaching.
can't have you up here.
It's
Right.
like
I can't do that. Right.
It's like when you walk into a restaurant, your busboy can have mustard or whatever else. He's cleaning the tables.
That's good.
But your waitress or your waiter, you don't want them having all kind of dirt on them. I don't want nobody feeding me that's dirty.
And I don't want to
and
go
even if the
outside
waiter
and
has
see
it,
my chef smoking a cigarette and got to go back
and
in
then
and
go back
cook.
in there. The waiter may have a little something, but the manager's going, right, so at every level there's a different level
Yes.
of presentation
Expectation.
and
That's it.
expectation.
That's good. That's
Yes.
good.
So there may
That's
be
good.
stuff that at the door you can do, but up here in the outer court may be okay. You coming into the most holy place where you are serving out.
Right.
Well, no, we can't.
I tell my announcers, although this is what you're doing, but this is the most delicate place to our church, because you are the image of the church. Everything that hits this stage is the image of the church. Although you saying choir singing now, let's lift offering, everything is the image of this church. So when you doing that and people got the TV off, they're going to see your face.
That's right.
They're going to see you, even if they don't hear what you say, they say, oh, that person represents that church. Now they see you at the club, talking about party over here, party over there, and you forced me to make a decision.
Absolutely.
Because
Everything-
that affects the image of the church.
Everything preaches, from the parking lot to the pulpit. Nice. Everything preaches.
Well, I wouldn't know about parking lot because we ain't got none here. But I guess it does preach. But my point is, man, is like, you're right. Everything does preach. I think that everybody wants equal rights while they're not in equal position.
Everybody wants
that's
equal rights,
good.
but not equal responsibility too.
That's good too.
Right. Give me platform, give me space, but don't put none of them responsibilities on me. Don't do that. It's too much. I can handle all that. But yeah, give me the microphone though. I want that. I want the spotlight, but none of, when we're up here, it gets hot up here because you got all of these lights that are necessary for the camera, necessary for production.
That brings detail.
And not only brings detail, but the lights bring heat. And people want the spotlight for visibility,
Yep.
but got a problem with the heat and the visibility that comes along with it.
They want to get on the stage, but they don't want to walk up the steps.
Yeah.
And that's good. They want to get on the stage, but they don't what?
They don't
You
wanna
like
walk,
that?
They don't want to walk up the steps.
Every stage don't have a step, though. How we going to get there with only one step?
Take the
Don't walk up the
elevator.
steps.
You got some good sayings,
They got
Mr.
to
Rick. I'm
jump
just
up and
messing
have
with
some
you.
good knees.
All right.
Are we still recording? Or we just
You got to go
Oh.
higher. They want to go on stage, but they don't want to take the steps.
Yeah,
to
they
get
don't want to take the proper steps to get there. And you got to understand, you can be in a position you're not ready for, but the position, if you value it, will purge you.
And it'll grow you up.
It will
if
grow you
respect
up.
it.
I'm telling you, because when I became pastor, I was not ready for it.
Yeah.
So there were some things I did years ago that I would never do now because the position purges you.
Absolutely.
The only challenge you have is people saw you in your nakedness, in your immaturity, that would refuse to respect that you now matured.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I understand that. That's why I'm long suffering with people, because I understand the process of maturity.
Absolutely.
But you can't remain the same way every year.
Yeah.
There's got to be some growing. You
When-
know,
when-
when you're
when-
single without a baby, you say, fine, I'm doing what I want to do. I can spend every penny, every dollar, and lose it. But the moment you get a child, you now have to purge to make sure every need or every dollar meets every need.
Right.
Yes.
Right. The prophet met David coming out of the field, dingy, dirty, smelly. That same David couldn't rule over Israel. And those who met David in the field had the responsibility to be able to see him in the palace. And not still
That's good.
And not still measure him by how they met him.
That's good.
Back there
And
in
that's
the field.
probably was his brother's problems.
Indeed. Indeed.
Probably was his brother's
Indeed.
problem.
And you know,
he could
remember
never
when
see him in the palace.
And you remember when he comes out with the basket after he's been anointed, goes down to the field to go bring his brother some food, and when they say, "What we know the
What you
naughtiness of
doing
your heart,
here?
what you here?
What you
You just
doing
want to
here?"
see some mess,
Yeah.
right? Aren't thou come down to see the battle? You just here for some mess."
In their cause.
What'd you say? Is there not a cause?
Is
Right?
there
He
not
said.
and they still didn't receive him
Absolutely.
because somebody else took him to the king.
Absolutely.
His own brothers
then
would
he-
not do it.
Then he said, what's the reward? Is that not a cause?
There's a cause, and what's the reward? What's the
What's
gain?
reward?
And what's the reward?
What's the effect? Yeah.
Yep, you guys have a cause, and I think that every cause that you saw should have a reward. Should have a reward, even if the reward is gratitude.
So Pastor Marcus's question, you know, where we got folk doing, there's a video that's going viral right now on social media of a well-known singer who shows up to the church she's an artist, lit,
Oh yeah.
slurred, and when does it become, whether it's in a local house, how do we determine, to his question, what is and is not okay to be given place to serve?
Because leadership has become blind. Even if they hear it, they still become blind. We got to take responsibility. Even with that tape, the pastors in those churches should love that person, male or female, enough to say, I need to care more about your condition than your gift. But we're gift conscious because gifts draw people.
Yeah.
Gift brings energy, but gifts
And
don't
gifts
create
bring
foundation. Money, but it doesn't create
And
foundation.
what was the saying you said earlier, that we be trying not to hurt people, but we wound them? You said
I
something.
said I'd rather be offended than to go down the
than
road and be wounded.
So we be trying to avoid offending people. We want to spare your feelings and your emotions.
Let me like that scenario. The danger about that scenario is if I keep meeting everybody, so many people that doesn't deal with me. When I meet the one that deals with me,
You the
I'm
problem.
stronger now, and I'm attack the one that deals with
Absolutely.
me because I've met so many people that accepted it
And that let it
that's
go.
what's wrong with the church today.
And you know, the funny thing about it is, the
You hear
ones
that, Bishop?
the funny thing about it is, the ones that you correct and they learn by the correction, they're the ones that come back and say thank you.
But
Oh,
absolutely. But listen to what Pastor Tony
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
That let's take it away from somebody getting drunk.
Right,
Just
right.
whatever.
Let's
Whether
take
somebody-
pastors
Let's
or
say somebody's
leaders.
drunk on power, drunk on
That's
titles,
good, that's
drunk
good.
on whatever. That the more people they meet that co-sign their intoxication, when they get to somebody who says, "Hey, good guy, but that's not your call."
Yep, they say, well, Pastor Tony funny acting. He
Yeah.
say he just speak out of turn. No, there
Hating.
were many people that lined up and allow you to get away with it because of one reason. They
wanna-
told themselves it ain't my charge.
That's good.
But it's the kingdom's charge.
That's
the
it.
title, the position of pastor is to protect the house. The particular of the bishop is to protect the kingdom.
That's
we
it.
have kingdom protection.
That's good.
We have a church with no security.
Woo.
No security.
That's
Because
good.
everybody letting everybody get through. Listen, we know, let's be real. The church, we think that the spirit of homosexuality came through the church through the arts. How did it get everywhere else?
Because that spirit was in the pulpit, undercover,
Because somebody allow it to enter in
and was saying that they my
and
business.
gave no accountability.
And gifts
And gave no accountability. Now it's so free, it says, I have a husband and I'm a man.
And I'm a bishop
And
or a pastor.
And this is the thing that makes me so upset. And I don't have a right to publicly disagree with you. I must be silenced because of your opinion
Yeah.
or your change.
You go in the closet with your problem.
I must now go in the closet.
Let me see.
Yes.
Was that nice?
Yeah, we're in the
I'll think
closet.
about it.
Yeah, no, we are. They
trying
put
to
us
be
in the.
nice.
They put
We're
truth
in the closet.
Right.
You
They
have
put
to
the
go
word in the
closet
closet.
so
Right.
they
In
can
the
come out.
closet.
The church in the closet.
And what makes it hard
It's time
is
to
when
come
you
out.
find people that stand and agree with it because it works well on a 90-minute reel.
Yeah.
Wow. The church in the
It's
closet.
It'll go
all about
viral.
the image.
Yeah.
All about the image. The church, most pastors have stopped being preachers and now becoming kingdom
Performers.
politics. Politicians. They're politicians. You know what a politician does? He tried to win both sides. And know what he does at the end? Serve nobody.
That's it.
He tries to win both sides, and at the end, he serves nobody.
don't work.
And then they tell you the next 4 years, you give me one more chance, and I promise you I'll get some things done.
You know, we probably should have changed clothes about 30 minutes ago. Y'all could have had 2 shows. You split up out of this.
It's all right. It's just a
it's
continuation.
just-
It's part 2.
Oh, amen.
This is.
I didn't
this
wear
is
the
my
same
last-
thing twice, y'all.
This is the last question.
Is that vanity? All right. So here's my last question. When it comes to, because we've been talking about the state of the church and how things happen, is there a difference between, or is the church in a bad place? Let's say it this way. Is the church in a bad place because it is being forced to accept anything without structure or resistance or rules to anything that walks in the door? Now, of course, you are welcoming because everyone is welcome. Not talking about that. But once you have become a part of the house, how then do the rules apply to the point where you are not criminalized for holding people accountable to the word versus what society is okaying?
The only way a house can be taken is that the strong man has to first be bound. And the state of transition that the church is presently in is that the strong man, spiritual leaders, are allowing, I'm gonna say ourselves, but it ain't me. Allowing
me
us,
either.
right?
I
Allowing
ain't going to hell for them.
ourselves to be bound out of fear of people saying whatever. Now, on the other side, I think we do need to continue to look at and relook at the way we impose our rules and the way, because to do the right thing the wrong way still has the same result as doing the wrong thing, right? And so I think
That's why some rules are private. My mother used to beat us, but the real beating was private.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And
you don't
and you had
change the
enough,
rules.
You had enough honor not to call 911.
Oh, because
on your mama.
not only does she beat me and it creates pain, but she never beat me while she loved me. See, she's beat me because the position she gave me first was love. See, y'all like to call stuff abuse, but really the abuse is you can't handle the truth of the direction of where it come from.
And I think that's good, because if a stranger had done it in the
Then
same
it becomes
way,
wrong.
it's abuse.
Right, it's abuse.
So relationship can differentiate between how we define.
But when you angry, you treat everybody equal.
Yeah.
When you angry, you treat that mother like a stranger.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And in life, we all gonna get whooped.
Yeah.
Because whooped is almost, I'd see whooping as changing your view with pressure. You see what I'm saying? Changing what you think or how you did it with pressure. And everything has a price to it. We just don't want to pay the price. So we treat everybody as, when I'm offended, then now you're not those things you were when you were maintaining my life. Because when I'm offended or I'm hurt, my anger makes everybody equal to me.
That's good. That's good.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you taking some time after a long weekend of conference. We had a great time during that time, and you all stayed to be a part of Man Up's recording. And so we appreciate your time, your wisdom, your insight, and being able to share with our audience of Man Up. We thank you all for tuning in with us, and we appreciate you and your time, and we look forward to seeing you. Feel free to join us here in the sanctuary at 4617 York Road as we celebrate God and we become better so that we can be the representation of Christ in the earth. And that only happens when we're taught the right way. So come and be a part of our services here, 9 and 11 on Sunday mornings, and you can tune in for our 12 noon and our 6 p.m. services virtually on Wednesday. We look forward to seeing you next time on Man Up. Have a great day.